It's Pepsicle, and I am Control-Alt reviewing the Monster Hunter Wilds 2 beta. I'm running this on a Ryzen 9 5900X processor, Intel Arc 770 limited edition, 16GB GPU. As of right now, the game is running. I have been tweaking the settings to make it a smooth experience for me, but I'm hopeful that Capcom will be optimizing this further, as well as Intel providing new drivers for the graphics card to run the game just more pretty. I am relatively new to the Monster Hunter franchise. I played a little bit of Monster Hunter on the PS2 back in the day, then tried World a few times on PS4, never really stuck. It wasn't until I played Monster Hunter Rise that I grew to better understand the mechanics and the weapons of the game. I then returned to World and really fell in love with the game. I have been playing almost exclusively the Charge Blade since I learned how to wield it finally, and personally I'm really excited for the game's release to come out. For the game overview, and of course this is a beta, if you have never played Monster Hunter game before, the gameplay loop is essentially go out, hunt monsters, harvest materials, and make better armor and weapons. Rinse, repeat. As a newer player, each weapon has a different feel to them. When playing these games, you kind of want to just go out and hunt monsters, and some of these weapons aren't that great at doing that. There's a lot of nuance going on, and systems that just aren't very open to tell you what's going on. What really got me into this game was that gameplay loop and the Charge Blade. Hitting those guard points just right just makes you feel like a god. Anyways, gameplay loop. You search for monsters, you hunt it, you harvest it, then you build new weapons or armor at the smith. Do that over and over again. You get introduced to more monsters as you progress, they get bigger, and you guessed it, more weapons, more armor. Weapons and armor have abilities, effects, slots for abilities. You can really build your character as you want. The best part is playing with others, especially if you have friends that are into the game, just kind of mobbing around hunting monsters. It's just a great time. This is a very demanding game. There is more work to be had on this to just make it run better, which I believe Capcom is fully able to do. When Resident Evil 4 Remake first came out, it ran so terribly on my PC. Now I can play that game on a Legion Go and just kind of be amazed at how good it looks now. It's crazy. So they definitely have the ability to make this more optimized. We'll just have to wait and see. My largest complaint is the weather effect. The weather effects, largely, it's the thunderstorm. When it rolls in, it makes it impossible to see at times. That might be intentional and just my graphics side. That does suck because it would be a really cool atmosphere to hunt a giant monster. It wants nothing more to fry you with lightning. Visuals, the game can be very beautiful. It is impressive, like, don't get me wrong. You just have to shell out a lot of money to get that experience. I'll continue to play the game on my current hardware with the medium settings. It runs smoother for me. Not quite get those gorgeous visuals. At times, I'm still at awe at what I'm seeing on the screen. As I mentioned a few times, there is a part of me that is hopeful that maybe in a year or so, this monster of a game, see what I did there, could be played on a PC handheld and look decent like the Legion Go. For my impressions of the game, I can already tell that I'm going to really enjoy this game at release. I knew that before I even played the first beta. Just kind of the reveals of the monsters, the theme, the setting, it's just, I love it. And I've started to really get into the Monster Hunter franchise. They have just improved so much on this game. The traversal throughout the map is just so much more enjoyable and improved upon. You're not walking from one distance to the other, unlocking amount to kind of just take you from point A to point B. Updated the Palamute kind of system that they had for Rise to have this bird thing, the secret. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Probably not. Picking up items is, for the most part, so much easier, just using your hook to snake up those items while you commute from your part-time gig, carving up those Chupacabras to your full-time gig at getting wrecked by an arc belt. It just makes it so much easier to press B while you're aiming at something and just have those herbs that you're desperately going to need. I was going to try out a few of the other weapons throughout the beta, but I was just having too much fun with that Charge Blade and sawing up my enemies. The way you can just pick up quests on the fly is just amazing too. You can just go speak to Alma and start a quest or join somebody else's quest, and that's just a much needed update to this franchise. In closing, after getting to know your weapon and your enemy, the game is really fun. It looks like they're trying to make this as easy to pick up for new players as possible. I would always suggest looking up a guide if you really want to learn a certain weapon, but there are weapons that do a great job at easing you into the core mechanics of the game while still leaving you room to grow and master that weapon. The demand of this game on your PC is unfortunate. You're probably going to have a much better time on a system if you have a lower end PC. That's just kind of be expected at this point. Games are just getting more and more demanding for PCs. I personally have confidence that they are going to optimize the game. I mean, it seems like they've come a pretty good distance from that first beta, hoping that it runs better post-launch. If you're like me with the ARC 770 graphics card and don't want to take that gamble with the game's performance, just keep an eye on this one. It can only get better unless they break it. Then just be happy you didn't pre-order the game like I did.